Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Cleveland football fans know what it's like to play without a top-notch quarterback. They've been doing it for 20 years. That's when everything is needed to be perfect for them to win a game, let alone a championship. Here's what it's like when you do have that great quarterback. He can play lousy for 3 quarters while the defense is still worried about what he's going to do. Then he can wake up and score 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter and overcome an 11-point deficit. That, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what Patrick Mahomes did, and he's only 24 years old. Jeff-Schudel is here. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Monday night, it's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 24th consecutive year and seen exclusively on cleveland.com. Jeff-Schudel is here, and he is not Brian Anderson, who was expected to be here. Brian called in sick. We gave him a day off, a well-deserved day off, and we'll try to have him on next week before he goes down when pitchers and catchers and announcers report to spring training.
Well, I'm glad to be pinch hitting for him.
He's a good guy. He's a terrific guest and a terrific guy, and we look forward to it. But we do the same for you, who, by the way, I have, even though it's only the beginning of February, I have given out an award for 2020 as the best question not only asked in this year, but maybe in the history of Cleveland Browns football. And that is when you asked Paul-Depodesta, what the heck do you do around this place?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's not the proper wording. What was the exact wording?
I said, what do you do? and
did he laugh? Did he think it was funny?
Well, he kind of like, and
nobody's ever asked him that.
He goes, what's my kids at? But it was just a direct question.
Right.
So I didn't try to give him any outs. Just
Right,
what do you do?
So what does he do?
Well, even his answer was a little confusing. He talks about like he almost has like a checklist.
Okay.
Like, does this guy fit this checklist?
You're talking about draft picks?
Draft picks and I guess free agents.
Okay.
And do they have these qualities? Because if they don't have these qualities, they don't fit the the type player. I'm not talking about personality.
Right.
They don't fit the type player that that we think is going to succeed in this program.
Okay. Does he also deal with when it's 3rd and 4, we ought to run this play or that play? Does he do that kind of thing?
I don't think he gets involved so much in that. And you know what? That part of analytics, Les, has been around forever.
Sure.
They used to call those, well, they still have them, quality control coaches.
Sure. They're the ones that break down the film and do all that stuff. I have a problem with that, though.
No, I don't have a problem with that either.
Well, I do.
Oh, you do?
But you go ahead, and then I'll give you my problem.
Okay, so we'll say, this is just an example. So they're watching the Bengals, tape of the Bengals, and they see that on 3rd and 5, they throw the tight end, Tyler Eifert, 60% of the time, whatever it is. I'm just making this up. And then they're looking at the defenses, how teams defend them, and they say, hey, this defense has stopped that play 40% of the time, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's analytics.
No, that's also good coaching.
And that's good coaching. And so they present that information to the defensive coordinator.
And when do they do that? Before Friday of a week?
Yeah, they would say the Browns are playing the Bengals in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So on that Monday, or even maybe before that, they do this breakdown of that tape long before they play.
I know when Bill Belichick was here, he would do that in February and March.
Yeah, right. There you are. And so that is analytics. Now, I will say this, that the way to describe what I think DePodesta wants to do to find the player they want, I don't really have a huge objection to that, because you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we've talked about this on your show, they get players that plug in,
Right.
Okay, well,
System players.
Troy Polamalu retires, they get a safety that plays like him.
Right.
And again, I'm just throwing out examples.
All right, so let me tell you
And
what.
I like that.
Well,
part
that's
of it.
common sense.
Right.
But let's go further down the line here. The assumption is, and I've never been in a coaching room while they're planning, so maybe they have an answer to this. The assumption is, I believe, that you're right, 47% of the time they run this play, Tyler Eifert, or 29% of the time they do this. But you can't assume that every player is as equal to another player. So, for
Right.
example, Eifert might be better than half of the tight ends there are, and yet the Browns players defensively aren't good enough to stop that.
Right.
If it's a player who's not as good as Eifert, they could stop it. So that's not analytics anymore.
Right. And my problem with the way that's set up now is, I have nothing against Ivy League people, but I think you need a football guy in that mix somewhere.
Right.
Like John Dorsey, Alonzo Highsmith, Elliott Wolf. And they're all gone now. I want a guy who has stood out there, watching play on the sideline, watching players, and who's got his shoes muddy, watching guys play football instead of these guys just sitting in the office. And Andrew Berry, let's talk about him.
32 years old.
32 years old, but I don't understand this, Les. He was part of that 2016-2017 fiasco, right?
Well, yeah, depending on who you listen to. Did he make a choice? Probably not. Did he put his hand up and say, yeah, let's do that? Probably so.
Probably so. That's the part of it. And because I don't think that Sashi Brown said, man, I really think Corey Coleman's going to be a great player. Somebody had to say, Corey Coleman's going to be pretty good here, Sash.
Yeah.
And
Sash.
and I think that's what Jimmy Haslam should be looking at. There should be somebody in there who, I said, who's been around. And
Hold on a minute. You're double talking here because you're saying Jimmy Haslam should have somebody in there, but Jimmy Haslam on the search committee for all these people had his wife, his son-in-law, ''Podesta, some accountant, and that's about it.
Well, right. Let's break that down. So you have Jimmy Haslam, a gas station guy, his wife, and
Wouldn't that be
J.W.
funny if
Johnson.
his wife's name was Ethel?
Yeah, yeah. That would,
Got that?
yeah. Fill me up, Ethel.
Okay, continue.
J.W. Johnson, his
Right.
son-in-law, TV guy,
Right.
and Cooper, the salary cap guy, who
Right.
was Sashi Brown.
What does that have to do with scouting players?
That was a search committee, and Paul-depodesta, a baseball guy.
All right, let's talk about something interesting, like a game that we had, the last game of the year. The 100th year of the NFL is over with now, and we head into the 101st year. So what did we see last night? 31-20 is what we saw. That's the final. What did we see?
I thought it was a fun game to watch. It had a lot of ebbs and flows, and right there at the end, it was 24-20. The Chiefs come back to take that lead, and the 49ers had a chance to regain the lead. And we saw, as you said in your opening, Patrick Mahomes wasn't great those first three quarters. He threw 2 interceptions.
Right. And a fumble.
And he fumbled. And he got lucky on a fumble to get it back. And Jimmy Garoppolo had that chance. He had Sanders wide open, Emmanuel Sanders wide open, overthrew him. Who knows how that game would have ended if he'd have caught that.
All right, let me ask you this. I don't know how long the replay system has been in use here, but you're never going to have more cameras on a game than you're going to have at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, and you still, I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure if that play should have been taken away, if he stepped out of bounds. I thought it was
The touchdown?
The touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I thought clearly it was a touchdown. Then when they show the replay, I go, uh-oh, I thought his second foot went down on the line, but I couldn't swear to it.
No.
But if you can't, you got 100 cameras at the Super Bowl and you still can't tell.
Well, maybe they're getting ready for Daytona or something.
That could very well be.
I don't know, but I mean, you're right. How can you not have? It's not like, well, we got the.
Depending on what team you're rooting for, that's how you felt about that play.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it as many times as anybody else, and I thought it was a touchdown because I assumed that the ball was over the line even while you're concentrating, if the foot is on the line, the ball probably cleared the pylon.
It was really close, and you're right. Why couldn't they have one camera down and one on the goal line like that? I don't know. I mean, it's not like we have to do the Tampa Arizona game at midnight, So I don't know.
No, but you got to make sure that at halftime you can get the halftime show.
Huh.
You okay with that?
Let's not talk about the halftime show. That's when you go back to the food line and hit the bathroom.
Right. All right. So reactions from the game. Some local guys created some activity in the game. Travis Kelce. Well, there you see Travis Kelce scores a touchdown, 6 receptions, and he's pretty good, by the way.
Yeah, he is good.
And they used his quarterbacking ability. He was a quarterback at Cleveland Heights, and they had a couple direct snaps to him. Kyle Juszczyk had a touchdown, almost had 2.
Yeah, boy, that was close.
His knee went down just before getting to the 1-yard line. And Raheem Mostert, his family lives in Chardon, 12 carries on the game. He also had a touchdown. So 3 touchdowns in that game, directly responsible by the local kids. And good for all of them.
Yeah, and you know what's a big part of that game? You just had Raheem Mostert out there. He had 220 yards against the Packers 2 weeks ago.
Right.
58 yards yesterday. And you know who else I thought would have a bigger impact on the game was George Kittle, the tight end from the 49ers. He didn't do much. He had that offensive interference that was kind of.
Did you think it was well officiated game?
I thought it was. What I liked about it is, except maybe for that pass interference call.
Right, and I think they missed the clock running out, the play clock running out.
Yeah, but that's always a little off because I think that there's a lot of times it goes to 0 on the TV on the clock in the stadium.
Right.
But the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
So I think it might be half a second behind in real time. But I like the fact, again, except for that offensive pass interference, the officials.
You would have let it go?
Yeah, I probably would have let it go. But the officials did not decide the game.
Correct.
There were some plays that probably would have been roughing the passer in a regular season game, and we would have said, "Oh, come on, that wasn't roughing them." So I like the fact that they.
They always throw in stats. Some are obvious, some are not. This is Super Bowl 54, and there's only been 4 games tied at halftime. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. I know that is unbelievable.
So, all right, did the Browns or the Cleveland fans learn anything from the game? Or is it just they were playing at a different level, so it doesn't matter what the Browns do?
Maybe what you saw is, how about this? How about if you stick with it, if you don't say, you're gone in 2 years.
49ers were terrible for the last 3-4 years.
Exactly right. And I think Kyle-Shanahan, I think he started like 0-9 or something like that his first year. And last year, Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt. They're 4-12.
Right.
You think that he would have still been around if Jimmy Haslam owned that team?
No.
No.
Probably not.
Probably not. And
by the way, Kyle Shanahan doesn't have a lot of fans down in Atlanta. I heard some guys talking about Atlanta. They're still upset for clock management a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll never get over that game, will they? And so I think that's what you see. If you stick with the plan, if you have faith in those you have around. Now, I'm sure
somewhere along the line you got to walk away from it though if it's not working.
Right, like with Hugh Jackson. But I think if you have John Lynch, who you trust as your general manager, you say, hey, I'm sure ownership says, hey, do you think really Kyle Shanahan really has it? And John Lynch says, yes, he does. Yeah. And so that would be what I think Jimmy Haslam should
216-575-0403. Email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. All right, so the Super Bowl is over. Now we got to think about next year's Super Bowl. And that's because that's what Las Vegas does. Let's take a look at what Las Vegas thinks is going to happen next year. Super Bowl odds to get there and win. Chiefs to repeat 6-1. Ravens second. 49ers, Saints, Patriots, Packers, Chargers, Cowboys. Jeff, I don't see the Browns in here.
No, not top 8 are they?
Let's go to page 2. See if we see the Browns there. Nope. Steelers are 9. Seahawks, Bears, Rams, Falcons, Eagles, Vikings, and Titans. Let's go to page 3, see what that looks like. There they are. They were hiding. They're number 17 on the list at 33-1, followed by the Colts, the Raiders, and the Texans. So there you have it.
Now, you know what that shows me? That shows me Las Vegas expects Tom Brady to be back with the Patriots.
Reports today that he might be with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, then that would explain maybe that 35-1 on them, but
right.
That would change. But if they had the Patriots at 11-1,
then he's still here.
then he's still there. Yeah. And I somewhere, and you never know these reports, but they said that the Patriots want to break the bank and pay him like $30 million a year.
Right. It's tough to walk away, and from his point of view, he's got a legacy to worry about. And I think it's very important to him, the legacy with the Patriots.
And I think it would be good for him to finish that off. You don't want him being like a Joe Namath. We were just talking about him earlier.
Right.
Going out to the...
All right, the Browns made a hire today. You saw him last night in the Super Bowl game. That's Joe Woods as the defensive coordinator. Of course, he was the defensive backs coordinator with San Francisco. They gave up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He was a defensive back coach and in control of the passing game. That was with the 49ers this past year. Defensive coordinator, had a good year in 17 with Denver. And then he was the defensive backs coach with Minnesota. Of course, that's where Kevin-Stefanski was. And that went from 2006 until 2017. You have an initial thought on Joe Woods?
Well, I think what's important is Kevin-Stefanski knows him really well. And so he wants that familiarity. I think that's important. And the same thing with Mike Prefer, keeping him as special teams coordinator.
Right, but he didn't get his big pick, and that was the general manager.
No.
Peyton did not follow suit.
Right, and so we'll see what happens. I think, again, now see, Peyton would have been one of those football guys I think should be in that mix somewhere.
Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the past 6 months? People are winning in record numbers. Winning is happening all over the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. Coming up, Baker Mayfield says he's going to change starting with the next season. We'll see about that. More Sports and Les Levine with Jeff-Schudel continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This portion of More Sports and Les Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. All right, here are the birthdays for today. February 3rd, Frank Tarkenton, one of the original small quarterback. Bob Greasy. Pop Fly was born in 1947. He's a coach, I believe, hit Fungos. Freddie Lynn, he was Rookie of the Year and MVP one year. His first year. Vlade Divac and Rufnet Udor, who I believe was in the Indian system at one time.
I'm not sure on that. Maybe Frank Tarkenton. that makes me really feel old.
What a great player he was.
Yeah.
He was.
You know what? When I'm on your show for this segment, it makes me feel old.
When those names come up?
Yeah, like the thing that Fran Tarkenton is
old.
Yeah.
So the crew, who does a great job.
So he's 80.
Look at these.
He's 80 years old.
Yeah, probably.
Right. Well, he was born in 1940. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably is.
But the guys in the back room says, "Who are these guys?"
Yeah.
You know, and I remember. Tarkenton played with Minnesota
Sure.
and with the Giants.
Yeah. Were you ever Fran Tarkenton in the backyard?
Oh, who wasn't?
Yeah, who wasn't? He's 80 years old.
When I wasn't Eddie LeBaron. Okay, Baker-Mayfield had a discussion with Rex Ryan. Now, Ryan got on his case a couple of weeks ago, but Baker had some discussions with him. He says it's a humbling experience. This was on ESPN's Get Up. It's a different ballgame. I mean, just to be honest, I put my foot in my mouth a lot the past year, and I'm going to internalize that and think that's the way I need to handle it. I just have to be me. I have to continue to do that, and I don't need to reply to the stuff on the outside. So I need to internalize that and motivate everybody around me. All right, so you've been around Baker Mayfield not hundreds, but many, many times.
Yeah.
Do you see the need to change, to calm down, and do you think he can do it?
I think he can do it. And here's what I think is important about Baker's next season. Think about this. John Dorsey drafts him. He's gone. They made Freddie Kitchens the head coach because he got along well with Baker.
And Hugh Jackson before.
Right. And so Freddie's gone. And Garrett Gilbert, the backup quarterback, they hired him because he was Baker's buddy, and he'll probably be gone. So now Baker Mayfield has to prove himself to an entire new slate of people.
Stefanski owes him nothing.
Owes him nothing. And Alex Van Pelt, the new offensive coordinator, who Aaron Rodgers really liked in Green Bay. And so I'm going to guess that Alex Van Pelt will have work very closely with Baker. So I think that's important. That all those ties are gone. Stefanski
the other day at the initial press conference said he hasn't decided about calling plays. You know he's probably going to try to do that, right?
Well, I'm guessing
which is a
now,
bad
especially
idea for a rookie coach. There's too much going on.
Yeah, I think. When did we last see that problem?
Every time. Every chance we had.
Season. And
I can see why they want to do it, but it's really not for the best of the team.
I don't see how it's going to be. That part of it's going to be any different than with. I mean, now they must think that Freddie, that Stefanski is more qualified to be a head coach than Kitchens.
Maybe so. But I don't know.
But it's the same situation.
Yeah, but don't you think that Dorsey should have just said, Freddie, you're the head coach. Concentrate on being the head coach. Don't get your ego out of it. I know you got this job because of your play calling ability, but now you're the head coach of the football team.
That's what should have probably happened. Would have been any different? I don't know, but it didn't work. That's for sure. And I just think that relationship, that whole, and we've said this on it, that whole thing just did not work. Kitchens as head coach, Todd Monken, offense coordinator, Ryan Lindley, that was
bad idea.
Bad idea.
But don't you think that Dorsey did that because he wanted to stand out? If his picks came through, he gets to say to Haslam, see, I told you I could do this.
Right. And it didn't. And so now, but John Dorsey can say, I picked a lot of those guys that won the Super Bowl yesterday.
Okay, Stefanski comes in. Immediately there's a problem with Odell-Beckham-Jr. Stefanski comes in, you got Kareem Hunt with the problem. But according to Complex Sports, Odell Beckham Jr. talked about Stefanski today. He said, with the new coach coming in, just seeing what he did with the Minnesota Vikings for a long time with Thielen and Diggs, these are two people I've watched closely on film, and just seeing the things that he did and meeting with him and seeing where his mind's at for Jarvis and myself, how this thing is going to work out, I have a good feeling about it. You know. Well, he says he has a good feeling. What do you think, based on history?
I really hope that Odell Beckham shows up for the off-season program.
OTAs, yeah.
He doesn't have to necessarily be there for every practice. It would be good if he would. But he, show some respect to the new head coach, which he didn't show Freddie Kitchens, and show up at these. Now, this is assuming he had that surgery and he's supposed to be good in about 8 weeks.
Right.
So I'm not saying he's got to get out there on April 1st.
No, but it would be nice if he showed that he cared a little bit, or at least faked that he cared. Sincerity is a very important thing to have, and once you learn to fake that, you got it made.
Yeah. So, but let's talk about that. You know what? That's because when he didn't show up, then David Njoku said, I don't have to show up. Look at odell-beckham-jr. I don't have to show up.
Right.
Anthony Callaway, he didn't show up. Callaway didn't show up.
And Beckham probably felt, well, I don't owe them anything.
Right. And if your leaders do show up, then if you're those lesser guys, you better show up. Yeah. I mean, I go back to when Clay Matthews was here, and because I started coming to these guys in 1981, that was already his 4th season. But Clay Matthews, he would not take practice off, and he'd be hurt. He'd get out. He'd be getting his uniform on, going out.
Just to show the other players.
That's when they're pads all the time. Yeah. So if you're the second team linebacker or whatever position, it doesn't matter. If you're seeing Clay Matthews and Ozzie Newsome out there practicing every day,
it's tough for you not to.
Yeah, and so that's why players like Beckham, maybe they don't need it, but they should be there to. If
all right, here's what Beckham had to say. Yeah, I told you what he had to say, but I want to show you Thielen and Diggs and see what they do. And this is the numbers. You got the targets and the receptions, and 9 touchdowns each between the two guys. And now you have a look at what the Browns have in Beckham and Jarvis Landry. There you see it.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns and 6 touchdowns for Jarvis. Yards per game, not very impressive.
No. And I'll tell you another good thing about Stefanski. He likes to use his tight end.
Right.
And if Njoku
brings him back, right?
Yeah, I think
gives him a chance.
Yes. And
basically, you go to Njoku and say, look, we got a new administration here. Start fresh from day one and see what happens.
Right. Catch the ball when it hits your hands and stuff like that. And so I think this could work out well for the Browns. But those instances you mentioned, he was on the job for less than a week when the Odell Beckham thing happened at LSU, and then the week after that, the Kareem Hunt happens. And when he was
welcome to the head coaching job.
Welcome to head coaching, yeah. And when you're the offensive coordinator, you don't have to worry about those.
Can you see him calling to somebody, one of his mentors or advisors, and say, I know it's tough. It's a tough job here, but I didn't expect it to have a problem on day 2.
Yeah, right. He calls Zimmer. You have an offensive coordinator.
You got an opening?
Yeah.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. East, West, and South. That's the 3 locations in addition to the website for northeastfactorydirect.com. And, of course, West 140th Street on the west side near the airport. You've got Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, the old B&B Appliance building. And then, of course, the new one on the south. That's on Freeway Drive, and that's in Macedonia. But before you go anywhere, you go to northeastfactorydirect.com. Whether it's cabinetry or furniture, you name it. Hot tubs. By the way, people say hot tubs, it's winter. Yeah, it is, but this is the best time to buy it, actually. Northeast Factory Direct, check it out, and you're going to pay half off or even more than half off for just about everything in the store because they cut way down on expenses and pass the savings directly on to you. We'll come on back in a moment. Jeff, were you at Tribe Fest the other day?
I was. That was
all right, we're going to talk about
enlightening.
Francisco-Lindor and more when we get back. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively with Jeff-Schudel on cleveland.com.
Celebrate Naturestone's 30-year anniversary with a free Naturestone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making Naturestone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say, it's not just a floor, wow, it's Naturestone.
Just because I'm not $1 million price doesn't mean I'm worthless. We middle prices get zero respect. We're worth hundreds, even thousands. I mean, I'm a handsome bag of money. And there's $110 million worth of us in the Ohio Lottery Cash Celebration scratch-off alone. Plus, the odds of winning are off the chart. 1 in 3.
Play the $30 cash celebration for a chance to win up to $1 million.
You see?
Oh, and lots of prizes between $100 and $1,000.
Everybody wants $1 million. Would $500 be so bad? Come on.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
I don't have a no trade clause in my contract, so I can't control anything. So at the end of the day, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. Like I said, I don't have any trade. I don't have any clauses in my contract, so I got no say. I'm gonna play as hard as I can, and I want to enjoy everything.
You do have a say, though, in whether or not you would sign a long-term contract. Why not do that here?
Because they haven't offered me the right thing.
Frankie, before you avoided arbitration this year, was an extension discussed at all?
No, we talked about arbitration, and there was other things that were mentioned, but it's no right time to be doing anything like that.
The closer you get to free agency, though, I mean, isn't it harder, to ignore free agency and maybe consider a multi-year deal, or is a multi-year deal out of the question now?
Harder for who? For me?
For you, yeah.
I'm being a player that wears all what I got in front of my toes today. I don't care about free agency. I don't care about what's happening next year. I care about what I got today, and that's the only thing I worry about. At the end of the day, free agency will be just another year.
So if the Indians offered to you the right thing, would you be?
I would love to be in Cleveland. I love Cleveland. This is a city. This is a home. This is a great city. You got great fans, and we got a good team and a great group of guys. The front office is good. The coaching staff is good. Everybody, the club, everybody that's involved with the Indians organization, it's great, and I love it here. This is where I came up, and I'm extremely comfortable here. I am not opposed to anything. Like I said, make sure you guys write all about. You can write it. I would love to be here in Cleveland. No, it's not about how much money I get. This is not a thing about pride or money but I just like a team would not pay $60 million for a player, no player wants to play a league minimum for the rest of their career. It's not about that. It's not at all. I'm not money driven. I'm championship driven. That's what I want. I want to win. Wherever I go, I want to win. I want to bring a championship to the city of Cleveland. This is what I want to do. That's my mission. I'm here today, and I want to win for the Indians. It has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with the years. It has nothing to do with who I like or who I don't like. It has to do with championships. The front office try to put a team to win, not to save money. They're supposed to try to put a team to win, and I'm here to try to win.
Okay, you won the press conference again with your question.
Thank you. You know what? I will tell you this: the interviewing is one of my favorite parts of my job. I really.
All right. So what did he say? He was all over the board.
Right. He was.
And everything he could say can be picked out and checked out and all that other stuff. I don't see, like when Albert Bell left, people had no trouble booing him. I can't imagine Indians fans, if he leaves, I can't see them booing him. Do you?
I agree with that. I mean, yeah, because I think he is sincere when he says he likes it here. How could he be treated? He'll be treated well wherever he ends up.
Sure.
But he can't be treated better than he is here. But I think the most significant part of what he said there, and you're right, he was all over the map. But the very end of that answer, when he says it's really not about the money, it's championships. So he said, but if the team is out to save money, that to me is saying if they're out to save money, they're not out to win a championship.
Right. Except in their division, they probably think they can contend another year here.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, but big deal.
Yeah.
So they win the Central Division. I almost said the AFC North. They win the Central Division, and then where do they go from there? I mean,
well, I think most people would say that if you get there, you have as good a chance. I mean, I've always said if you just get there, even if you don't have the best team, I'll let you take the best team and give me all the other teams.
Yeah,
and I'll take my chances.
There have been wild card teams that have won the World Series.
Just this year,
right?
Washington,
right? And so,
all right.
But still,
so can the Indians? They go to $17.5 million as far as arbitration. Does it? I've never heard them say, well, maybe we'll try to sign him for one more year before the big contract kicks in. Is that a possibility?
No, but he said also in that interview, it was a long one, that he wants a long-term deal.
Which might make it the last one he makes.
Right.
He
said, and because he's 26 now, and he said, when he's 30, he says, this is him talking, when I'm 37, are my skills going to decline? No, that's him, of course. He's going to
Well, yes, they are.
Well, But that's, I'm telling you what he said.
All these guys with a 10-year deal are not nearly as good at the end as they are at the beginning.
Right, and you look like Miguel Cabrera from the Tigers.
Yeah, and now they're locked into him for 30-some million.
Right, and
that's 30-some million a year.
Yes, and Garrett Cole, the Yankees just gave him $324 million for 10 years. Will he be as good? I mean, remember when the Indians signed Wayne Garland?
Yeah.
And
$325,000.
Yeah, and people said,
10 years.
Yeah, and then I think
he was pumping gas a year later.
Right, and he got a shoulder injury or something.
Yeah.
And I mean that's a risk you take when you sign someone to a long-term deal. And you're right, the payoff at the end, his skills probably will decline.
I can't think of anybody with an 8 to 10 year deal that paid off year in and year out. A-Rod did for the most part, but he had a couple of years injured or suspended or whatever. 216-575-0403. Mike Masetta from Nature's Zone is going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on what he's thinking. Explore your interests and find a program that puts you on the same path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. When we come back, we'll find out what Mike is thinking. We'll do some quickies a little bit later. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery, partners in education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. 1993. Cincinnati Reds owner Marge Schott is suspended for a year for racist comments that were made by her. If that happened today, she'd be forced out completely, right?
I can't remember what she said. I remember at that time, even then it was inflammatory, but you're right. Yeah, it should be.
Hey, I want to straighten something out. We mentioned Joe Woods. I think we said that he was named the defensive coordinator. That's not true yet. It may happen today, may happen tomorrow, but these are what reports are saying.
And I'll tell you another piece of news. I just got a text. Tristan Thompson was a scratch from the game tonight.
Could be
quad
traded.
soreness.
Yeah.
He might maybe hurt himself packing his bags, right? Because he might be traded. NBA trading deadline is Thursday, so keep your eye open for that.
I doubt that Kevin Love is going to get traded. His contract is just way out of line. He can't play 2 games back to back. Let's say hi to Mike Masetta from Nature Stone. Wow, it's Nature Stone. Hello, Michael.
Good evening. How are you, Les?
Well, have you recovered from your food exposure at the Sokolowski's the other day?
I have not, and I want to go back. I can't wait. Delicious, absolutely delicious, and they really feed you well there. That's for sure.
And it would be nice if they were nice people, though.
Well, I only know of one family that I grew up with that treats you any better and gives you food like that, and that's the Masetta family. Yeah. So I'm good with the Sokolowskis because I got a grandma and my parents who did the exact same thing. And I love it.
All right, Jeff-Schudel is with us. He covers just about everybody. What do you think of the Super Bowl?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, did you have the right winner in the Super Bowl game?
I did. I'm happy to say that I liked Kansas City going into it. I thought they were the better team. I thought that for 3 quarters, San Francisco was going to pull one out, and then Patrick Mahomes showed us why he's Patrick Mahomes and made some plays. I did think the MVP should have gone to Damian Williams, though. I really thought that the numbers were there, and he played a really exceptional game start to finish for Kansas City. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it could have gone either way, and Mahomes did a real nice job of leading it back. And I thought the defense played well when they had to against that running game.
I think usually in a game like that, it's the quarterback's MVP job to lose, actually. Yeah. And what I said earlier, Mike, in my commentary, was that the difference between having a great quarterback and an average quarterback is that even if the great quarterback is having a bad half or 3 quarters, you still got to cover everything that he can do because you never know when he's going to wake up out of it, and that's exactly what happened with Mahomes yesterday.
Yes, it was. It was fun to watch. Definitely beat the game from last year, and I thought it was going to be a little bit more high scoring. But San Francisco's defense is the real deal, and it took an exceptional, play from an exceptional quarterback, in that 4th quarter to put them over the top. And not for anything, but Shanahan, he's a great coach. He did a great job with these guys. But there were a couple of things that were kind of head scratchers during the game. He reminded me of a little bit of our coaches with the timeout situation there in the first half.
He let that clock run down for the end of the first half. Now, as it turned out, they got into position. Unfortunately they had a penalty, but they would have had enough time to score. But you're right. That's one criticism about Kyle Shanahan. But you mentioned the defense, Mike, and Jeff is here who covers the Browns, and Joe Woods apparently is going to be named the defensive coordinator. Is there anything that bothered you, Jeff, to what they did defensively last night?
Well, I mean, you picked that one game, that one quarter. You won't want him as your
That would not be his highlight film.
No, it would not. But he did pretty good until then. But, hey, Mike, I thought you mentioned that Kansas City defense. I was saying to Les earlier, they really took Mostert out. He didn't do very much, 58 yards. And George Kittle, I thought that he would be the difference in the game. I said, actually, I predicted the 49ers would win 27-23.
Right.
And when it was 24-20 Kansas City, and they had the ball, I thought, hey, I could look pretty smart here if George Kittle makes the winning touchdown.
Right.
But they really took him out of the game.
How good is that Travis Kelce out of Cleveland Heights? How good would he look in a Browns uniform?
The tight end is such an important position, as Jeff said. He's such a matchup nightmare. You can put him anywhere. I also like when they split him out wide or Kittle for the 49ers, because Kittle's just as good. And they run wide, and he takes out two guys on the blocking on the outside. I mean, that's fun to watch when San Francisco or Kansas City is running those wide plays, and they've got their tight end playing a split, a wide receiver position, and he's taking out a safety, a linebacker, and a quarterback all in one play to pick up. They're 5 yards downfield before anybody even touches them.
And he was a quarterback for some time at Cleveland Heights, and he used his quarterback ability. He's, when they direct snap to him, that's awfully tough to adjust to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've just done that in the past. They did that, I think, once last night. It's creative. He's a big guy who can run, and he understands the gaps, and he can get in there and do what he's got to do to get that yard and a half, and get to where he needs to be. So he's a lot of fun to watch play. I mean, he's a great player, and I agree with Jeff too. That Kittle, I remember him playing against the Browns. He ran over everybody several times during that game.
Yeah, who led the Browns tight ends? Demetrius Harris with 15 catches.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think Stefanski
tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, Stefanski will get tight ends more involved, I'm pretty sure.
What do you guys want the Browns?
One thing, Jeff, that you mentioned about at the end of the game thinking that they were going to go to Kittle, did you think that Shanahan fell in love a little bit too much with the run when the game was on the line? I mean, I know it's their bread and butter, but he seemed like when there was not a lot of time left and he needed that last touchdown, he was going to a direct running game instead of doing what he could have done, and that was kind of opening up. Garoppolo was having a pretty good game.
Yeah, but I wonder if he got scared because Garoppolo threw that interception in the first half, which is probably why he was a little cautious.
He might have been scared on that, and also he wanted to use that clock and run it down so if he did score, he didn't leave Mahomes at any time at all.
Yeah, and so, so Garoppolo throws that interception that led to a field goal, and he overthrew Sanders on that wide open play. So maybe he lost some confidence in Garoppolo there and in that last drive.
Mike, Jeff and I were talking earlier. They throw in these stats from the 54 previous Super Bowls. How about the fact that only 4 times has the Super Bowl game been tied at halftime? I wouldn't be. If somebody asked me to guess how many games, I'd be within 20, I think.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would not have thought that. These games are usually so evenly matched. They're rarely a blowout, I would think, and I don't think it would be uncommon for the game to be tied at halftime. But I guess with the way that they utilize their timeouts and who's getting the ball in the second half now, teams play for that, to get that field goal at the end of the first half to put them up 3 or
no, it looked like he didn't even
put them up an extra score, knowing that they're going to get the ball to start the next half.
But it looked like he wasn't interested. He didn't look like he was interested in scoring before the half. Keeping his timeouts in his pocket.
Did not. Yeah, that was bad.
All right, we got to go. You know what the best part about the Super Bowl game? It was over just in time for Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I'm going to tell me the Masked Singer.
Love that show. Seinfeld too.
All right, Mike. It's Nature Stone. Wow, it's Nature Stone. Thanks for joining us as always.
You got it, guys. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There you go, Mike Musetta from Nature Stone. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct, East, West, and South. 3 great locations. Before you go to any of them, check out northeastfactorydirect.com, and that website is going to save you a lot of money. They pass the savings on to you. Alex started the business over 20 years ago in a single garage with one piece of furniture, and now he's one of the great success stories in all of Northeastern Ohio. NortheastFactoryDirect.com. Sokolowski's University, and I just mentioned that. Mike joined us there last week. I believe it was the first time he was there. I also believe he's going to be there time after time after time. That's what it is. I've been told I don't do the place justice. What? I've been talking about him every day for 26 years. That's justice as far as I'm concerned. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University in Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated restaurant. We'll come back with the Facebook question of the day. We'll check out some quickies and more. More Sports and Les-Levine with Jeff Schudel, exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature's Stone and never replace your basement flooring again. Your concrete is uneven, damp, and not healthy. Carpet and tile don't last, breed mold and mildew, and give worthless warranties. Nature's Stone permanently corrects uneven concrete and is not affected by dampness or moisture. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of February. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's look at this date in Les-Levine history. How come 1977, doing a Kent State basketball game on radio, during a timeout, Les was threatened with a technical foul by one of the referees because he loudly questioned a non-call.
Is that true?
Absolutely. It's loosely based on truth. To Howie Chiswick. Remember the great Howie Chiswick? He was doing a game at the Coliseum. And Larry Nance Sr. was playing. And they call a foul on Nance, and the crowd's going nuts. And Howie goes, the foul allegedly on Larry Nance. And the referee challenged him and says, I'm calling the NFL, I'm calling the NBA tonight. If you ever do that again, you're out of here.
Oh, that's pretty good.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Let's take a look. Well, one statement here before we get to the Facebook questions of the week. And this is from somebody. I don't have any idea who it's from. KB007. How come the Kansas City Chiefs had 3 ex-Browns linemen playing last night? Schwartz, Irving, and center Ryder and Coleman on the 49ers, a direct result of changing general managers every year or so. That's Kent from Defiance.
Yeah, well, he's right on that. And, what can you say? The Browns need a right tackle. They had Mitchell Schwartz, and they still need a right tackle. So that's all you need.
Mitchell Schwartz last year was named by Pro Football Focus as the best lineman in football. What more do you need to know about that?
Yeah, and the Browns, we don't need them.
All right, here's the standard question you ask after a season ends. Which Cleveland team will be the next one to win a championship? Tim Gebhardt says, I still think the Indians are the closest to winning it all. Glenn Berger says, the Cleveland Monsters. Quite frankly, based on the present state of affairs, I don't see the Indians, the Browns under Haslam, and a hapless Cavs team winning a championship.
Yeah, it won't be the Monsters this year.
No.
But that's only because a lot of their guys were playing for the Blue Jackets.
Right.
Well, that's one reason.
Brian, what do we want to do? Take a break and come back with quickies, or? Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll check out How Come Quickies. Jeff, you ready to grade them?
I love that part of the. That's what drives me down here.
Because you know it's over right after that.
I like the quickies.
We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Your concrete is cracked, uneven, and not safe. Paints and poly coatings don't last, are slippery, and give worthless warranties. Nature Stone permanently corrects cracked, uneven concrete, eliminates slipping hazards, and is easy to clean. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of February. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw, WKYC.com, will join us on Wednesday, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, and on Thursday, Paul Hoynesy makes another appearance. Right now, he's probably working on getting his rant ready to go. Time for a How Come Quickie.
Let me just say, I'm glad I don't have to follow those guys.
Well, you're leading them off. Facebook.com, the place to find us. Facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. Are you ready? Toledo Mike with a How Come Quickie.
All right.
Oh, we got a How Come Quickie of my own. Our writers, our staff writers. How come Kyle-Shanahan should have been named coach of the Browns because his clock management skills are as bad as anybody they did choose?
That's a good question.
Can't argue that.
No.
All right, How Come Quickie time from Toledo Mike. How come the European sound engineer kept on repeating, check 1, 2, check 1, 2?
Okay.
Up to...
I'm going to give that one a 5.
A 5? All right. You can write it down. Give it a 5. This from Mike from Stowe, I believe, is a new contributor. Has 2 good ones today. You ready for this one, Jeff?
Yep.
How come the Twins don't play all double headers?
Oh, I like that one.
All right, what do you got?
That's an 8.
That's an 8?
Yeah.
All right. How come the Cards aren't in the World Series of Poker?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that a 8.7.
8 and an 8.7. It's pretty good. Mr. Gullible checks in. How can the pilgrims on the beach get Puritan? That's a tough quickie. I mean, if you read just reading them, that's a different story. How come a girl with an hourglass figure is a waste of time?
Oh, no, that one's...
That's okay.
Yeah, that one's all right.
He's been better.
He's a little off.
You're better than that, Mr. Gullible.
He's following them off today.
You're better than that. John Patrick.
He's a regular.
Yes, he is. How come regular visitors to the dentist know the drill?
Ooh, that
hurts.
Yeah, I'm going to give that. I like that one. That's a 9.1.
It's got 9.1. It's got the elements of a good How Come Quickie.
Yeah.
Just hurts to think about it. You got about a minute. Anything you'd like to spew here?
No, I will say that I'm looking forward to that press conference with Andrew Berry on Wednesday, because that will be our first chance to really find out how much he was involved in the decisions to pass on, trade that pick that could have been Carson Wentz, trade Deshaun Watson, not move up to get Patrick Mahomes, picking Corey Coleman. And
it sounds disjointed that they're having the press conference Wednesday, but I like that fact because now he's settled back in and he has an idea of what he's dealing with, rather than, hey, I just signed the contract today.
Yes.
And I'm not ready to answer some of these
and
questions.
some of the media were in Miami for the Super
Right.
Bowl, so now we'll be in full force. And you know, the people covering the Browns are not shy, so we're not going to let Andrew Berry skate. I promise that.
Excellent. I like that in
All right.
I like that in a guy.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Jeff Schudel, does a great job. And we will see him at the press conference on Wednesday. I'll see you tonight with Bud Shaw. Then it's the D-Man Dennis Maniloff on Wednesday, Paul Hoynes on Thursday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.